Can I have a quick hello from all the 3 online panelists?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Prasoon here from Billion Bricks.
Speak out, say something, because we just wanted to test again the sound.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Prasoon here from Billion Bricks. Christian, can you hear me?
Prasoon, we cannot hear you.
Oh, really? Oh.
Okay.
I'm speaking.
Okay, now it's fine.
I can hear Prasoon fine.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Prasoon from Billion Bricks here. And good to see some familiar faces, Stephanie.
Hi, Prasoon. Hi, Christian. Hi, everybody else. My name is Stephanie Feeney, co-founder from DNAir, and it's very lovely to be here. Thank you for the invitation, Christian, and great to be alongside you on a panel again, Prasoon.
Looking forward.
And welcome, Mimi, and
Hi.
here in the room. Mimi.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. So I'm really excited and thrilled to be here together with you. And yeah, I'm Mimi Ishio. My husband and I do some philanthropic activity, and this year I went to Davos with Christian, so I'd be happy to talk about it. Thank you so much.
Great. You also want to quickly introduce?
Sure. My name is Hiro. I went to Davos for the first time. I would like to share my experience, which was great. So I'm looking forward to chatting with all the panelists and also the crowd. Thank you.
The microphone seems to be a little bit unstable here. I hope it holds. So before we actually start into the session, I also want to introduce myself and PDIE Group again. PDIE stands for Purpose-Driven Innovation Ecosystem. Our mission is to scale impactful and sustainable innovations from local to global markets, create a collaborative community and ecosystem around the world where we can connect people who are working on the grandest challenges which we are facing here on this planet. And one of the greatest challenges, which at the moment, it gets some headwinds, basically, because of new presidency in America, for example. And this has also been one of the topics at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Yeah, we need to stick together, and we need to carry on working on these extremely important topics, because climate change, biodiversity loss, these are very serious problems. And if politicians all of a sudden come and exit the Paris Agreement and also encourage people to drill oil again, it's not the best thing to do. So again, with PDIE, we built this global ecosystem. Today we have a panel of 5 people. No, actually, including myself, 5 actually, yes. And people come from different fields. So it's very interesting. If somebody goes to Davos, of course, we always ask why. What do you want to do in Davos? And there are very different objectives depending on the person going to Davos. So I want to start, first of all, with Hiro. And maybe you can also give a little bit of background about yourself, and then talk about your first experience, what brought you to Davos, and a little bit about the general context.
I work for a real estate company, American real estate company called Cushman Wakefield, and I was working for the trading company. So for work-wise, I've been always involved in the international trading, international transactions, etc. And then I was always to try to get to participate in any of these activities, in the cross-border transactions, and try to mingle with the people who's doing the international the work or the business. And then I've been watching, of course, Davos. And the reason I went to Davos, I wanted to go to Davos was just out of curiosity, what kind of people actually go there, what it's like, and then that's actually brought me, or actually make me, I met with the Tsuchiya-san through a Christian, and I had a chance to go to Davos. So can I briefly explain how he was? Sure. So so until I go there, I didn't know anything about Davos. I mean, how it likes, what kind of people actually go there, and the transportation, accommodation, everything is probably, everyone here can have no idea what it's like. But in on-site, there's a lot of people actually just walking on the street, and you get to see a lot of people who's on TV, and then you actually can get the chance to talk with, if you just ask them, can I talk to your second, or you'll be able to talk with those people who's on TV. And then all the people the people who sit next to me during lunchtime or during panel session, and everybody was so inspiring and very highly motivated. And then that's what Davos was. So for me, if I were to express my experience in one word, exciting, or the other word is about the inspiring. That was my first experience. I'd like to share more of my insight or experience later.
Yeah, that's great. Maybe I should also add that Tsuchiya-san, whom he mentioned, who introduced him to the possibility to go to Davos, he was our panelist 2 years ago when we had the same kind of session, Davos Digest. And Tsuchiya-san was the guy who opened the World Economic Forum office here in Japan in 2004. And he was with the World Economic Forum, the abbreviation is WEF, basically. So people who go to World Economic Forum many times, they call it WEF. And he has been, I think, 11 years with WEF. And now he's running his global advisory firm. And he's focusing on global leaders and connecting global leaders from Japan with the world. And yeah, so I would like to ask Mimi, what brought you to Davos, and how was your first experience? Maybe you can give a general kind of roundabout impression about Davos.
Okay, thank you so much. Hi, everyone again. It's Mimi. I'm Mimi Ishio. My husband and I set the focus on philanthropic activity, and family prioritize time right now since 5 years ago. And we cherish our family time and try helping people as possible. We also invest into some startup companies, mainly healthcare, education, and also we'd love to, be a help for saving animals as well. And I happen to be advisory board for Christian's organization, and I've been watching him trying very, very hard and with passion, trying very hard to save this planet. And I am very touched, and I'm so happy to be, to do some project with him and everyone. And I have two main reasons, for going to international places. First, I want to understand the truth about the world, and why are there conflicts, and why are people suffering without knowing, the background and the real reasons. We cannot come up with the solutions, the truth solution. So I just want to know what's really happening. And the second reason is just, I believe Japan needs to have a stronger presence in the world. And there are so many amazing people in Japan. And I want to take on challenges, step into international places, and help create opportunities for the next generation. I want to, pass this baton to the next person next year. And this can I keep going on, what I experienced in
Yes, of
Davos?
course, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this time I was invited by a friend to speak on a panel about AI investment. And AI has so much potential with and with the support of AI, I believe people can spend more time on creative activities and with their spending time with their loved ones, like families. And that's really a good thing. And I used to think Japan was kind of a little behind in terms of technology, but I realized that, the many people in Davos still like um they're not that sure what the AI is. So I thought, oh, it's a good opportunity for Japanese people or Japanese expert to take the initiative in the world still, like because I believe there is still a chance to catch up. And another great part of this trip was reconnecting with people. For example, people who I met in other panel or conferences in the world. I felt like it's like a reunion, strengthen our bond, and we talk about how we can make good opportunity for helping more people. That's something meaningful. But one thing that truly broke my heart was, I since I'm involving many organizations, they give me report, and I was receiving daily reports about animals dying while I was in Davos, and not being able to do anything about it. It was really painful. So I really, want what I want really I really want not only talking, but result, or we take action together. Yes, thank you.
Great. And yeah, so maybe I just briefly also phrase the objective why I personally go to Davos. So I'm coming from the perspective of building the global ecosystem for PDIE. So connecting with other leaders who are also caring about saving the planet and talking about nature-based solutions, for example, talking about new innovations in climate change. And this time, actually, we hosted 3 different events in Davos. One was an event where I helped providing the space. We are an official nominator for the Earthshot Prize, Prince William's initiative, and as such, we are currently the #1 nominator. We have most of the finalists so far. And 2 of the Earthshot Prize nominees are also now on the panel. And so the first event which we did was Future is Fungi Award. Fungi and mycelium is a very promising source of new materials, which is completely nature-based. And you have a huge number of applications which are possible. Food, pharmaceuticals, and soil remediation. If you have contaminated soils, you can apply fungi, and fungi can also sometimes eat microplastics in the soil and can decontaminate the soil. And also there are building materials is another application that you have insulation, or you can make organic waste streams, mix it with mycelium, and then you have very biologically suitable building materials, which are also recyclable. this was the first event we hosted, and Standard Chartered is one of the corporate alliance partners at the Earthshot Prize, and because we are also a member of the ecosystem, we could get the space. Actually, I shouldn't say it, but for free. And this is something very significant, because usually if you do an event in Davos, you have to pay huge amount of money. And the other event which we did, where Prasoon and Stephanie participated, is financing innovation for planetary health. Actually, Kobayashi-san has also been there, so he knows already what Stephanie and Prasoon will be talking about. But yeah, before we go into these kind of details, I want Prasoon and Stephanie, maybe we start ladies first with Stephanie, so that you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your company, and also your objectives, why you went to Davos, and then you pass the baton to Prasoon, and then we do the next round.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Christian. Yeah, just to introduce myself, my name is Stephanie Feeney. I am the co-founder of a company called DNAir. We have developed a very innovative method for collecting high quality, very granular biodiversity data. And this is really important because we are in the midst of a biodiversity crisis. We're losing plant and animal species at about 1,000 times the natural rate. And this has a big knock-on effect for everybody in terms of sort of prosperity, but also health and well-being, because the connections between sort of nature and health and well-being is so crucial. So in the sort of interest of being able to manage what we can measure, but also being able to value and appreciate what we can better understand, we believe that collecting biodiversity data is actually pretty important. So why do I go to Davos? Well, one very easy reason is that I live in Zurich, so I'm not so far away from Davos. I don't have to travel as far as many other people do. It's a little bit easier, the decision for me. But despite this, it is overwhelming because Davos is, I also know it as a ski resort and go there with family. And so suddenly this place that you know and is familiar to you suddenly turns into a completely different place, full of people. The high street looks different. It's a little bit weird, really, to go to a place and it suddenly to feel so different. But why do I go there? A number of kind of key reasons. I think Davos is little bit like a kind of a temperature check on what are the most kind of key and crucial topics to think about in the sort of year ahead. So I feel like Davos sort of like sets the scene a little bit for the year ahead. So getting a sense of the key topics. As an entrepreneur, it's and you all will know this, it's so crucial to build a network. So as Mimi mentioned, it is a little bit like a reunion. It's an opportunity to nurture existing relationships, to make new relationships. If you work as I do with a sort of global perspective and partners who are around the world, sometimes Davos is really the only opportunity to connect with them in person for the whole year. So so that kind of relationship building piece is a key reason. But also I go to position my new company, to raise awareness, to meet potential funders, potential customers, and finally to get inspired. And I love hearing from other entrepreneurs. And I did sit on a panel with Prasoon, who's a few more years into his entrepreneurial journey with Billion Bricks than I am with DNAir. And it was quite the learning experience for me to listen to Prasoon articulate his vision for his company and how clear he is on that and how clearly he speaks about that. So I learn a lot there as well by hearing from other entrepreneurs. So it's a very rich learning ground, and so I don't like to miss out. I think it's an event worth attending, even if I make a 3-hour journey each day to travel sort of to and from Zurich. That's it's well worth it. I'll pass to Prasoon now.
So maybe I just jump in shortly.
Yes, please.
So again, global ecosystems, local action, financing innovation for planetary health. This was the topic of our event, which we hosted at a place called the Climate Hub, which is actually a theater in the middle of Davos. So it's really a very good location and has space for 130 people. And our event was very well attended. And we had actually 2 panels. We had Prasoon, Stephanie, and we had Kunihiro Shimoji, who's from Okinawa and who is running a company called EF Polymer, which had also been running through the Climate Launchpad, which we are managing in Japan. And in the second panel, we had people from different backgrounds in finance, and they were speaking from the perspective of finance, and Prasoon and Stephanie and Kuni were speaking from the perspective of startups, and in the end, we tried to close the circle, close the loop, and find ways how we can actually bridge between innovators and finance. And this is also one of the things which we are aiming to be excellent in with PDIE Group. So Prasoon, please go ahead and tell us a little bit about your experience.
All right, thank you for having me here and to reconnect with a few of the fellow panelists and Christian, you as well.
Don't forget to explain about Billion Bricks, of course.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so I'll maybe start with that. So I run this company called Billion Bricks, which I founded in 2020. And Billion Bricks' mission and vision is to solve 2 of the biggest crises we are facing in the world. One is housing or access to housing, and second is climate change. And so we build net zero affordable housing communities, which are a triple bottom line solution. So they are financially highly profitable, but they are focused on the affordable housing sector and reduce the cost of home ownership. Plus, they are completely net zero from a carbon, embodied, and operational standpoint. And we think that we have a formula and we've hit upon this very exciting triple bottom line solution by leveraging quite a few things on the business model innovation and of course the technology side as well, where we have a couple of patents both on software and hardware side that we are developing. We are headquartered in Singapore, but we are currently working in Philippines, building our first few communities. And Engie, which is a French energy company, is a key investor in us and a very, very close partner as well. So I happen to be going to Zurich and Paris for some meetings, and I saw a message from Christian asking if there are any people or volunteers that want to go to Davos. So the timing was so perfect that I raised my hand, and then I hadn't met Christian, even though he had nominated us in the past as well. So it was an opportunity to meet him as well and be in Davos as well. So I had no intent of being there, but the timing turned out to be so good. And I hadn't realized that being in Davos is such a great bragging right. So when I told people, I think they were more excited than I was that I was going into Davos. And it turned out to be quite an exceptional place. I mean, I've been to many, many conferences and places, but Davos is absolutely exceptional. And just the street that Stephanie mentioned about how it transforms into like a conference arena, different vibe in the nighttime and during daytime, and the ease of meeting and interacting with people is something I've not seen anywhere. A lot of conferences, you go, you stand somewhere in the corner if you don't know anyone, very difficult to make conversations, but Davos was very, very friendly. You could go and say hi to anyone and people would come and say hi as well. And I can say one incident where when I was going for my panel discussion with Christian and Stephanie, I met some people in the train, and they were going for a panel discussion where Jamie Dimon was speaking, but then they decided to come along because climate finance was more of interest to them. And these kind of incidents just kept happening. I bumped into people I hadn't met in Singapore for years who were in Davos as well. So it was really a phenomenal experience, something I hadn't expected at all. And even including Christian, we hadn't planned a couple of times to meet, but we would keep bumping into the street as well. So I think those unintended meetings, along with some intended meetings as well, turned out to be a great experience, and I would love to have that again as well. For me, a cold, I think in Davos is something I should warn everyone. It was very cold for me, especially since the time I lost my hair. It's not been easy.
He's
Finding...
the only one wearing a T-shirt tonight, so you can see that.
That's right.
But maybe you explain why. Where are you now?
I'm in Singapore now, so it's probably 28 degrees centigrade outside and warm, but humid, so not that pleasant as well. So don't get too jealous. And the only accommodation I could find in Davos was 90 minutes away with 2 trains and 1 bus away as well. So not an easy place if you are on a very, very tight budget. But still, I think exceptional experience. And I would highly recommend if people have an opportunity to go there to do that for sure.
Great. So I also wanted to give a little bit of background about the main conference, because there are thousands of events, no, maybe not thousands, but a lot of events which are happening around Davos, around the Davos week. And then, of course, there is the main conference where the members of the WEF are invited, or you get invited to speak there. And there's a little bit of a kind of a segregation. You have a white badge if you can enter the conference center. And in the conference center, they are talking about the big agendas, basically. And it's always a mix of heads of state, then global leaders like the IMF or the WTO, so trade and finance, and also the corporate people, but then also NGOs and NPOs, which work on different topics. So they try to bring all the different stakeholders to the table in order to discuss the large agendas. And this year, they have always a kind of a headline. They have a theme for the year, and collaboration is always a kind of a big keyword. So this year, it was collaboration in the intelligent age. And what means intelligent? It of course hints towards artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence since last year, actually, last year was shortly after ChatGPT was launched to the public, and there was already a very big hype about AI. And this year it was even bigger. And in terms of AI, we also hosted a roundtable, the New Civilization Project, where we put together an interdisciplinary panel of 13 people who were coming from entrepreneurial background, from academic background, from spiritual background. So we had a Shokei Matsumoto. He's one of the young global leaders here from the World Economic Forum in Japan, actually. And he was representing the spiritual part. His topic is clean mind and being a good ancestor. And being a good ancestor is a good topic for PDIE as well as for building a new civilization. And why building a new civilization is essential? Because in these days now, we have a lot of dystopian narratives, I call it, we don't have a lot of positive stories for the future. And if we want to make the turnaround, we need to create these positive narratives, and we need to find new alternatives. And from the point of view of PDIE, the ecological point of view is a very important one. So we call it harmony between nature, humans, and AI. We cannot eliminate AI anymore. We have to cope with it. We have to coexist with it. So that was one of the big topics. And then I just go through the main other topics which were discussed at the WEF. Rebuilding trust. This is rebuilding trust in institutions and governments, etc., which we have seen the societies are more and more fragmented, divided. And even in Germany, where there's an election coming up very soon, we can see the division of society. Reimagining growth, so finding new ways of growth, even with the background of this artificial intelligence. Investing in people, so we have to reskill people. We have to go towards new ways to find occupations for people. Safeguarding the planet. It's the first time that they use this kind of wording for this. They always used climate, but they changed it this year into safeguarding the planet, which is, of course, partly climate change and biodiversity. And then industries in the intelligent age. These were the overarching topics and themes which were discussed in many different variations at the main forum. And maybe one more thing was, of course, and Prasoon had done a very nice post on LinkedIn. He said, "Trump and myself spoke in Davos." And Donald Trump was actually on the screen after his inauguration. And that was on Thursday, I think. And this was also a very big part of the discussion. Everybody was discussing about Trump and what he would be doing from now. And now it's already a month later, and we have seen what kind of ideas he has come up with. And anyway, so I want to pass on the mic and let the other participants also highlight a little bit their impression about the general themes and topics. And yeah, maybe this time we start with Mimi.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So this time I participated into AI investing AI panel. So can I talk about it, or should we talk about Trump? I am actually
You can do both.
Hearing a lot of things from Clinton families, but I would maybe not talk about it right now. So yeah, like this year, the one of the theme is intelligent, including AI. So this time we were talking about how AI investment will change the world or change our daily life. I am also investing into AI startup companies. And one of the greatest advantage of investing in AI is access to new information at an early timing or early stage. For example, the AI startup I invest in provides me with insider information, insights, how their development is progressing, or the kind of support that they receive from Google or GAFAM. and updates on major AI events happening around the world. Like, he often invite me, like, Mimi, we are attending this event in Europe and in Italy, and yeah, I like it. And also allows me to stay up to date with the latest AI progress, advancement, which is one of the key reasons I'm deeply involved in, not deeply, but involved, one of the, area I'm interested in. And so how about, like, people here, how many people are using AI in a daily life? Okay, yes. Like, yeah, like we were talking about that kind of things, and the definition of AI is quite different depending on people. Like, some people think that AI is ChatGPT, but it's not only about that. Like AI right now is everywhere. Idea generation, product planning, or AI agent, sales script, or programming, or risk analysis, like especially for investors. Now AI can help a lot about analysis, analyzing, the risks or benefit, about the investing into some companies or organizations. Well, and one of the risk is it's quite depending on the law or politics, I think, what kind of regulation or what kind of policy that the government or the world or country is taking. So I think, AI itself will help people to, make our life better or happier, but we will need to watch carefully, how we can use it. So
that's what they call guardrails. So we need to create guardrails, and we have to have ethical guidelines as well. What to do with the AI.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So maybe Prasoon, next you can talk a little bit about your impression about you already posted on LinkedIn that Trump and yourself have been speaking in Davos, and maybe if you got a little bit out of the main conference and the main topics, what was something which really steered you up, or which really shocked you or excited you?
Yeah, I think I would probably break this down into two different experiences that I had. One is, of course, what you referred to in my post with regards to a comparison between what Trump spoke about and what my theme of conversation was. And I find that in general, today, any conference or any place of advocacy or expression is really hijacked big time by climate and AI. And that is on, it seems like the whole world, all they need to do is AI and climate, and nothing else is of importance. And I work in an industry where I'm working with 1 billion people who don't have access to homes, and they haven't even caught up with a lot of foundational needs which are required for them to actually get uplifted and be part of this conversation around climate, AI, and other progressive things as well. And that is generally sidelined in most areas. And that's one of the awareness I wanted to bring with my post, to say that you're putting in $500 billion for AI, while that $500 billion can actually has the same quantum of money that can solve the entire homeless population and provide them with housing. So it means that we have the money and resources to create such a big impact and clean up some of the mess that we haven't cleaned up for decades. And once we have actually cleaned it up, then we can be more progressive as well and really not create this inequality. And I found that conversation to be kind of missing, or be a sporadic or in bits and pieces of recognition, but largely the inequality which is coming about by these conversations unaddressed at World Economic Forum in general, right? That was one. But for me personally, I think a second part, which was highly refreshing and which is not a conversation that I see in the conferences I go or in the circles that I'm part of here in Singapore or Philippines where we work, or in just the industry I'm in, was this whole conversation around Stephanie's area of biodiversity, etc., which I thought was really on top of mind. A lot of discussion that I attended outside of our panel itself. This was really on top of people's mind, which I thought was very, very pertinent, which in my part of the world is not really being talked about, but was very, very centered in Davos, and including in my other meetings that I had post Davos in Zurich and Paris. That theme did keep coming up. So for me, that was something new to learn, that it's there and it's being talked about, and people are taking action, and it's in the center of the conversation. I also saw certain investors which are in that space as well. So it means there's both a flow of entrepreneurs and ideas and trying to address it, but also money flowing into that area to kind of influence it as well. So I had both. The first part was really about the fact that, not surprising, but I've seen that in general, the foundational issues in the world don't get addressed, and it seemed to be the same. But I also found some new issues for me, which are being addressed, are very, very important and pertinent, and was a refreshing experience.
And of course, there are a lot of initiatives which come out of the World Economic Forum, which sometimes people are not aware of. One of these initiatives is the Gaia initiative. This is Giving to Amplify Earth's Action, Gaia. And actually next week, 18th, 19th, here in Tokyo, there is a big conference, and I was also invited to that conference, which is about nature and climate. And they are inviting a lot of C-level people and main academic people here in Japan who are driving this kind of agenda. And the Gaia initiative has pinpointed one of the big problems, which is that in philanthropy, only 2% of philanthropic donations go to climate and biodiversity issues, and the rest is mainly going to social issues, which, and Prasoon has actually combined it. So he has both. He has he has social issue and the climate issue, which is making his approach really unique. Yeah, and so maybe I go back to the room, and Hiro, you can also.
Yes, I'd like to cover this topic from the different angle, because I didn't have like a specific specialization when I went to Davos. So I really enjoyed this, the topic there, especially AI. This year, there's a lot of booth was covering the AI topic, and then I just want to share, this is Davos, that, my experience I had there. So, for example, there's one discussion talking about the AI versus human intelligence, and then they always talk about the controlling. But there's the question from the panelists or the moderator: do we know about, have we defined about the human intelligence already? So without knowing or defining the human intelligence, how we can control the AI? So that's I thought was a very, very interesting question, because we don't know the ability, the what's human intelligence can do. So that was a very interesting topic that I experienced. And also because the Davos have many investors, philanthropists, corporates, social, all the spiritual leaders, and that's why there's a very interesting discussion about also this related to AI. So they were talking about the AI under the age of the conflict, which is there's a lot of war going on in the world, and then so there's one guy came up and asked, so he was the technology guy who's actually doing the the drone that kills people. He's from Ukraine. So he was asking, okay, AI, we want, the world is in direction to develop the AI, I understand. And I'm also working on developing the technology, the drone, and the world is going that direction. And is it okay? Am I doing the right things to make the drone to do such purpose? And then the panelists couldn't answer that question because there's actually he was from Ukraine, and there's a panelist or the speaker from Russia, and there's other people. So this is the reason I'm sharing with you is that there's so many people in Davos with a different background, technology, investors, entrepreneurs, philanthropists, and that's why this kind of question come up. And I think just being part of those discussions was very, very inspiring. And then so that was one of the good experience I had. And I want everyone who's in this session to go and experience such discussion. Any discussion is very, very interesting. As Christian mentioned, everyone there is very inspiring and very great people. Sorry.
I can reconfirm that. And regarding Ukraine, there was also, since this conflict has started in 2022, there was a Ukraine pavilion, basically. And this pavilion also shows, it creates a little bit of fear because it shows that your country could be next, for example. And nobody in the Ukraine might have expected maybe 4 or 5 years ago that there would be an attack from Russia. And now a vast area of land is destroyed. So yeah, we don't want, and our mission is not this mission. So we are more on a peace mission and on the mission to fix the planet by innovation, which helps for creating a more ecological and harmonious civilization. So Stephanie, maybe you can also give a few highlights, and then we have a quick last round where we speak about some kind of wow moments at Davos, and not now, but now you can speak about the general topic.
Yeah.
And
sure.
yeah.
Sure. I will really just sort of build on what the others have said. And for me, the key, the sort of key topic was AI, for sure. There was, different AI houses. There was every event possible had, AI plus impact investing, environment and AI and everything else. So it was a huge topic. And still, I felt this tension all the time between, on the one hand, the event would be about AI and talking about its potential. And yet we also heard quite a lot of voices in the room saying, yeah, but let's not believe that data is going to save the world, right? So this kind of constant tension between those two things of this is very powerful, but wait a minute, it's just data. So I felt that tension all of the time. For me, it was very positive, as Prasoon pointed out, that nature and biodiversity had a much stronger presence this year. It was really like mainlined as a topic. It was across the board in lots of different conversations. Last year, I was also at Davos, and there was, nature and biodiversity was kind of a sideline thing. It was there, but it was in its own sort of bucket and hadn't quite seeped into other topics yet. So I was glad and happy to see that it had a much stronger presence. So for me, I'll just point out those two highlights, I think, are those kind of two key reflections when I think about the thematics of Davos this year.
Great. So now we do a last quick round, and we talk a little bit about some wow moments which we had during the week. And yeah, maybe I can just start with that because I might also close the session afterwards, and then we take a few questions from the audience. So one of the wow moments which I had was a cellist, Yo-Yo Ma. You know Yo-Yo Ma? I was coming up to the Schatzalp, which is on the mountain, and it was the only day when it was snowing, and there were people sitting outside on chairs, and it was snowing, and I was thinking, what the hell are they doing there? And then there was an announcement, and then actually they announced that Yo-Yo Ma would play the cello, and he played not only one piece, he played about half an hour basically, and he had his cello, and actually I posted it on social media, and you know my brother is a musician, and he said, oh, the poor cello, I hope he had a cheap one, but yeah, it was great to see Yo-Yo Ma. I have never seen him play live, and Yo-Yo Ma is also one of these cultural leaders of the World Economic Forum, and he was also having a speech, and he also had a tribute to nature. So the first piece which he played, he bowed to the mountains first, and he played to the mountains, not to the audience. And then the other two, the one piece was Bach, which I like very much, and the last piece was a little bit modern one. But he was like in the snow, and it was snowing quite heavily. The second wow moment was participating in a breakfast, which was organized by Google. And there was one of the top executives from Google who is in charge of AI and all these kind of social issues. James, I forgot his last name, but he's one of the most important people at Google right now. And there was an NGO called One, and this was yeah, we talked about, it's not everything is about data, but data is the question how you actually get data, and how the quality of the data is, if you want to derive substantial activities or decisions from this data. It needs to be proper data. And this organization called One, they exist since, I think, 15 years or something like this. Their mission is to provide data. And they work also with Google, and they get data from developing countries. And on this table, there were a few interesting people. Prince Max from Liechtenstein. He's the owner of the LGT, which is one of the largest private banks in the world. He will also be coming to Japan later this year, and they will actually host a session about climate, half-day session. So I talked to Prince Max, and then I got his contact, and now we're talking about how PDIE Group could be involved in this kind of event, where we would have some access to the private wealth clients of LGT in order to tell them what to do in terms of climate. There was also, and I'm not so much into popular music, so I didn't know this guy, but do you know will.i.am? Maybe will.i.am, yeah, some people are nodding. So he seems to be quite famous, and he was just sitting opposite of myself, and he was also an advocate of this data mission. And I could go on and on. What I saw Bill Gates wearing a kind of a hat and a pullover walking on the street. I also met Tim Cook on the street, Al Gore, the former vice president, and yeah, many other people. And one thing which is also very interesting is Saudi Arabia has a very big presence at the WEF, and yeah, they have the Saudi Arabia House, they have NEOM. Actually, I think Hiro was at the NEOM pavilion and he tried the virtual reality experience. Okay, so sorry for taking so much time. I pass on the mic.
Yes, for me, I'd like to share the two wows moment or the experience. So the one is the consistency of the people. Tell me that the reason why they come back to Davos. It's because they said, as probably Stephanie mentioned and Christian mentioned and Mimi-san mentioned, it's more like a dosokai, the reunion, and also they said everyone said it's like the beginning of a year. They get together to meet with the people, inspiring people, and to understand what's gonna happen that year. For example, for this year, what's gonna happen 2025, because all the global leaders and then from the different background comes. So that was one thing that everyone said. The reason they come back is because they want to meet the people, and it's very efficient. They always said use efficient, because if you're an entrepreneur, they can meet with the investors. Investor can meet with the entrepreneurs, and then if you're a philanthropist, they have all different background, but they can efficiently meet their requirement for the business or the purpose. The second wow that I want to share is the speed of the people exchange the information and the contact information. So it was so inspiring. I was so surprised that usually you come and in Japan exchange your card and start talking, or maybe that's it. But in Davos, I found out that they exchange the QR code of the LinkedIn or the QR code of the WhatsApp. That's happening in within 15 seconds. 15 seconds, 1-5. So instead we were talking, then talking for three minutes, and then exchange contact. But they're very efficient in 15 minutes. Oh, nice. They know that because everyone's nice people, so they exchange a card. They have a QR code ready to exchange.
Great. So, Mimi, what were your wow moments?
Thank you so much. Thank you. One of my wow moment, the people there were very they have heart to contribute to the others, and that is beautiful. That is amazing. On the other hand, to be honest, actually, since I returned from Davos, I've been feeling a little bit down. So many incredible people gathered in one place, yet at the same time, countless living beings, animals, or lives are suffering and dying. What can we do? And I can't help but feel powerless. So that is exactly why we have to accelerate changes. And we also, as Japanese people, we also for example, this year, Christian knows that we were helping children in India to receive a quality education. Just today, also, we received wonderful news. A girl from the slum we supported has been accepted into the top university in her country. She reached out to share her joy, and we all celebrated together. But there is still so many more who needs help, and it feels endless. So that's why I hope that each people, like everyone in Japan, achieve financial independence and become more aware of social issues and expand their ability to contribute to society. That's my wish. And starting from financial independence, like for Japanese people. Yeah.
Great. So, Stephanie.
I'm going to share a very small wow moment, but it's gone on and on and on. And it was a very simple meeting with a person on a train as I traveled home from Davos one evening. A woman who sat beside me, and as soon as she sat down, she, turned to open up the conversation, and we started to talk about what we were doing. And she's running an amazing community for women doers, I would say, just women who are out there doing impactful stuff. And she's all about connecting them together, giving them a platform, building a community. And we just had the most amazing conversation on the train home. And we've stayed in touch, and we will continue to stay in touch. And I'm sure that's a relationship that will nurture and grow over time. So things like that happen at Davos. You have the luck of meeting extraordinary people.
Daddy.
Oh, and that's, yeah, I think that's there's many little wow moments along the way that we should celebrate too.
Was she part of the 100 Women of Davos?
Oh, no, I don't think she was, but I imagine some of those 100 women are, or certainly should be, within her community.
Great. Prasoon.
I think firstly, I should agree with some of the comments that all four of you have made about your experiences, because I think this whole idea of how fast the exchange of LinkedIn QR codes is quite unique for Davos. And very, very, I think people are very focused on really networking as well. And then me talking about so many people needing so much help and so much needs to be done. I think that's so much related to how we at Billion Bricks think as well. And for me, I mean, Billion Bricks is in the midst of fundraising, and I just hadn't planned my Davos trip, but I happened to meet some of the people that I had were on my list of people to connect, or I've seen them on YouTube or in LinkedIn that would be of relevance to us, and they were just there, and I could kind of meet with them and exchange cards. So I think that was a wow moments that I wasn't expecting. But I think I feel a little bit after listening to Christian, the people he met on the street, I feel I lost on a lot of wow moments because I didn't meet any of them and we were on the same street. So where was I is what I'm wondering now.
Fantastic, yeah. And you are becoming a PDIE Group member, which is great. And we will work together also on raising your funding. And you will be coming to Japan, right?
Yes, if I get my visa, then I'll be there in first week of March. My visa still hasn't come, so I'm waiting for it to come. Yeah.
Fantastic, yeah. And our friend Hiro is also in the real estate business, so maybe he can make some good introductions. Fantastic. So we are basically through. I mean, it's difficult to cover everything which happens in Davos. There's also the whole thing about accommodation and how people are spending their time in apartments with many people together because they have to save cost and because it's actually very expensive to stay during that week, or they travel from outside. So they take train rides of 20 minutes or 2 hours or even 3 hours if they stay in Zurich, because there the prices are normal. And the more you come to Davos, the higher the prices get. And if you have some insider information, you can always get something which is much more reasonable. But you have to be quick, and you have to be having this kind of relationships. So I want to give to the audience, and maybe we can take 3 questions, and then yeah, we can go through. Who has a question? Okay, Akira-san.
Thank you very much for a wonderful impression of the Davos. Since everybody praised how wonderful the Davos is, I like to be a little bit critic because I went to Davos about 20 years ago, for about 3 times, because I was assistant to CEO of a company, so I could go there. But then the Davos meeting was much smaller. Much smaller people attended, and theme of the meeting was much more focused. So we could see that the people really relevant to that theme is gathering and discussing very professionally, and then come out with some solution or action. I wonder if Davos now becoming so big. I wonder how things. Of course, everybody is happy to meet so many people, but is it the right size to make solution or the to take the action forward? It's not good just the people talking. There has to be some action. I wonder if current Davos meeting is fit for that purpose. Thank you.
Okay, I can maybe give a simple answer to that. It's clear, it's huge, and there are so many different things and different segments of discussions. But not all of these, but a lot of these initiatives will be carried on during the year. So the annual meeting in the beginning of January is just a starting point, and every year they also create new initiatives. And of course, you can always debate how effective these initiatives are. And this magical keyword collaboration, this is something I think everybody needs to really reflect on it. How can we actually collaborate? And usually when it is about money, the collaboration spirit goes a little bit away. So we have to find solutions how to create a bigger pie together and make things happen so that we can utilize all these kind of connections which we make. And there are different people who come for different purposes, and this is not something bad, it's something good also, because we need diversity also in the different challenges and problems to address. But as Akira-san said, and by the way, Akira-san is our senior advisor at PDIE Group. He's always supporting us very strongly, and I like very much small meetings where you can really connect authentically with people. If you are in a huge conference where thousands of people are, you have very superficial connections, and that's also why we are having some conferences where we bring together a small community, like the Sustainable City Conference, which we did last year in Okinawa with OIST. We were, I don't know, maybe about 50 people, and among these 50 people, we still have a WhatsApp group where we exchange information. And if you create these small little islands where people are like-minded and work on similar problems, I think that Davos could be a good starting point to find new allies and then work on with these allies. But not everything is really leading into action. That's always a big problem. Yeah, then we had another question.
Yeah, so my question is really simple. It seems like this event, there's like 100 events and you just run around the valley as fast as you can to meet as many people. But my question is there some kind of point where it's really about understanding between all these different topics? Because my understanding is, for example, if I come for AI, I have maybe no idea about biodiversity or anything else. And I feel more and more that actually the language, the transdisciplinary language of understanding each other is the thing that is missing, because in that kind of situation, even if we all go to Davos, how can we expand our circle and find ways of collaborating? And I didn't really get the idea that there's something like that happening there. And I was wondering whether you have some idea about that.
Giving that question to Hiro-san.
Yes, because I was a beginner and I didn't know what's going on and how it's organized. So to answer your question, so in terms of what's going on the Davos, there's like a main event where all the corporates is invited and you see in the TV. That's one side, which you need to have the white badge. But for the other sector, which we have, there's a street called the Promenade. It's probably 500 meters. All the straight line, probably something like Harajuku no Takeshita Dori. So it's like each side there's the booth or the building, and then whether if you have some specific topic you're interested in, there's not the organized website, but there's if you participate, there's the Excel sheet, very not efficient Excel sheet, which describes the organizer names and link and then date, and then you just have to log into that each individual link to register. So whether you have a way to find, if you're interested in philanthropy or the AI or the environment, you can actually search. So you can actually focus on finding and registering the event. But sometimes you have to register much earlier, and because it can be fully booked in advance.
Anybody else wants to say something to this question from also our online panelists? Stephanie?
Yeah, I'm happy to just to respond to that question as well and say that I think many of the events are actually trying to be like transdisciplinary. I think Davos is the place where it's trying to bring different interests together and different opinions. So it's definitely, there are little bubbles within the big sort of Davos space, but they do try, I think, to mix things together. It is possible to go to Davos and run around like crazy and be a completely passive participant. There are so many events that you could just go to one after another, after another, after another. But I think you'll get most value from Davos and have most impact when you really put more time into the preparation and understand who else will be there, what topics do you want to really plug into, and take the time to sort of really think about how you will be present. And of course, if you can arrange a sort of a platform to speak or to bring your topic into another forum or platform, that then, makes it even more sort of impactful and valuable. So I think it's on every individual to like really think about what kind of a Davos do I want to have? Do I want to just have a passive go and listen? And you could do that for the whole week and be overwhelmed by the amount of information and ideas that you can absorb, or you can go there with a plan and be prepared and really, get to talk to the people who you want to talk to and find them and bring your topics to a space that hasn't heard about it yet.
Great. So now we take the last question. Adam?
Thank you very much. It was a very, very interesting evening. And I think the question that was just asked before, if I could just mention that in Japan, I was inspired personally by a company called Sony CSL, which is Computer Science Laboratories. And I'm sure that some representatives of Sony CSL, Kitano-san, and probably Mogi-san also, I don't know if he goes, but anyway, they are, So anyway, they are represented at Davos each year, but they have a very interesting model for transdisciplinary communication. And that's a way in which an organization from Japan could well contribute to a forum like Davos in terms of helping people understand each other. in different realms of knowledge. The question I wanted to ask, in fact, was, do you see an opportunity for Davos to go international in a hybrid form, so that people in other parts of the world could actually engage remotely from, for example, small towns in regional Japan or in any other country in real time with people in Davos? Or would that dilute the experience and make it less valuable for people to get together? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, actually. And we had the COVID pandemic. And of course, during the COVID pandemic, WEF went online for 1 year. And in 2022, they actually shifted Davos. It was called Green Davos. It was in May. And yeah, so there was already a hybrid format of Davos before, and then Davos also, I think Tokyo was one of the first offices abroad. Then they have New York, Washington, and in India they have an office in Beijing in China. And I don't know all the offices, but they have also an international network, and they also have different gatherings and meetings around the world. But how, to which extent they actually do the hybrid format, this is an interesting question, and I think it really depends what the topic is and how it can be beneficial for the people to loop in from digital realm, basically. Does anybody else want to reply to that, or Mimi? Maybe she had time limit. Yeah. Did she just disappear, or?
Sorry,
Okay.
my dog was here, so sorry.
Okay.
I was talking with my dog. Sorry.
Yeah, we just had the last. Yeah, you wanted to ask one question. Okay.
So I just wanted to follow up that this actually World Economic Forum released this World Risk Report, and I think that one may be interesting to look at. And one idea is, of course, to relate how that kind of risk can be identified in your community, and how we can relate it to the local, national, global, regional, global. And that kind of thinking may actually try to link the local communities and Davos action. But for the online, I think WEF has a policy that they like people to come and pay to become a member to join these exclusive discussions. So they don't necessarily want to open up the discussions for free of charge.
Yeah, there is, of course, also a digital community, and this is also a paid membership, but it's of course much cheaper than being a corporate member. So this is possible to join as a digital member, and you can get access to some of these kind of digital forums. And they also do a lot of online streamings and so on. So yeah, there is basically an outreach in a kind of hybrid form. And now we have done the hybrid format today. So thanks very much again, Mimi, Stephanie, and Prasoon, and Hiro is here physically with us. So I will stop the recording now, and we will have a little bit of time for networking here until we have to go. So, and I forgot to say happy Valentine's Day to everybody, and we should spread the love around. So. All
yes,
the best.
We shouldn't wait for just one day in the year to do that. We should do that every day of the year, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, everyone. All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.